Dinosaur. I don't even know what to make of it. There's not a lot that can be said. You just take it all in. And we watch Jack Kiefer begin with a Wooded Foothills. Now, I am a little surprised by the choice here from Kiefer with a Gruul Land Destruction deck. I don't think this deck is bad. It's actually won in Dallas before in the hands of Andrew Wolbers. But what makes this the choice for the weekend? I'm not quite sure.
If you're expecting more 3-color mid-rangey soups, I think the Land Destruction deck's very good against them.
I'll tell you what, he is gunning for it appears, I'll say, that he's gunning for Dredge in some capacity. There are 4 copies of Primal Command here. 4. That's a lot.
Burn, too.
That's true.
It's a little shaky against Burn because it's so expensive, but if it resolves cleanly,
game's over,
Game's
right?
over, yeah.
Well, Michael Jackson has made it known what he's doing. He started things off with an Inspiring Vantage into a Lava Spike. Kiefer's down to 17. For Jack, no mana Excellent for him. Just a couple of fetch lands there in Wooded Foothills and Windswept Teeth. For Michael Jackson, he'll play a Mountain, suspend a Rift Bolt, 1 suspend counter on the powerful burn spell. And it looks like there's a Sacred Foundry in hand, but that's all the action that Jackson has this turn, so we head back over to Kiefer, who's drawn another fetch land for the turn. I believe both Jack and Quinn are here this weekend. So perhaps we'll have some Kiefer action all weekend long, as it looks like Jack, the older of the two, is going to sacrifice both fetch lands, take at least 2. Let's make it 5, at least for the turn, depending on what lands he searches up, as Lightning Bolt will now resolve.
Have to imagine Kiefer here. If he had interest in getting a Stomping Ground, I think you would have seen him sacrifice the fetch lands, at least one of them at the end of Jackson's turn.
Looks like he's going to get 2 forests here. Now, I mentioned the lack of a 1-drop for Jack Kiefer in his opening hand. This deck does play plenty of them. 4 copies of Arbor Elf, 3 Birds of Paradise, 4 Utopia Sprawls. Had none of them to get the game started. Pretty important cards there for the Land Destruction deck.
Yep. And I think that if you're on the draw, you're probably sending that hand back.
Now, this will be a Blood Moon. Not the ideal card in this matchup. Shutting off the white mana does matter, but how much as you take a look at that burn deck list?
It's better here than against most. 4 main deck copies of Lightning Helix, pretty standard there, but it also cuts off the 3 main deck Deflecting Palms.
Okay. All right. Jackson's going to knock Kiefer down to 9. Looks like Jackson picked up a fetch land for the turn. Looks to be a Bloodstained Mire. You mentioned the Deflecting Palms. Looks like he has at least one of those in hand.
Got a Helix in hand.
Okay.
So Blood Moon here. It has its moments against Burn. It's not reliably good, but, particularly against a build with additional white cards, it's going to overperform. Now, Jackson's list does have a main deck Plains in it, so it's possible for him to get out of this, but, obviously unlikely.
That'll be an Eidolon of the Great Revel there for Michael Jackson. We're heading back over to Jack Kiefer now. Kiefer's got to deal with that problematic permanent, as he is not off to a very fast start at all here this game. Jack's going to play a Wooded Foothills. He's going to tap that for mana because he does have a Blood Moon on the battlefield. Now here's a Bloodbraid Elf. Primal Command, Blood Moon, he is not going to cast. Don't have to cast it, Jack. That's one of the benefits there of Bloodbraid Elf.
Nope.
So I wouldn't. And just shuffle those away. Those will go on the bottom of Kiefer's deck. As you see these players reading Bloodbraid Elf. Not seeing as much play as I think many expected after the unbanning. I know those cards will go to the bottom. We're going to head back over to Michael Jackson now. And Jackson will draw a card. You see the Sacred Foundry in hand. Picked up another copy of Eidolon of the Great Revel. That Sacred Foundry, I'm sure he's curious about how exactly does this work with Blood Moon on the battlefield now, given the new rules change.
Yeah, the old rules with Blood Moon and non-basics that enter the battlefield implications were pretty complicated, I think. I think the new rule set is much cleaner, where it's just a mountain the whole way through.
So we'll enter the battlefield untapped. No damage to be dealt, except for this Eidolon trigger, of course, as Michael Jackson will have to take 2.
So from this spot, I think I would have preferred for Jackson to send in the Eidolon first.
Oh, boy. He is taking a lot of damage. I'm not sure he can cast whatever card that was. And it looks like he can't.
I think you got to tender up the Eidolon first here. Kiefer's deck plays 4s and 5s and beyond. And Jackson now in a spot where he's at risk of getting locked out by his own Eidolons.
Yeah, this is a real concern now. Now, Kiefer doesn't appear to have much going on, but this is one of those spots where if Jack's able to find a copy of Primal Command, for example,
game's over.
The game might just end right away, and that's already a hard enough card to beat. Boros Charm to draw. Well, there's another white card.
Yep.
Okay. Now, let's see what this is. Looks like Michael Jackson tried to cast whatever spell this was last turn. I think it was a promotional risk factor, potentially. All right, well, you wanted the attack last turn. You might get it this turn.
You can't hang back here with your Eidolons, I don't think. Also, if Kiefer's really on nothing, you get the hit in this turn, and now the path is clear for your Eidolon the following turns.
Yeah, taking a look at the deck list, there are 4 copies of Risk Factor here, but it looks like Jackson's just going to hang back once again. Birds of Paradise to draw here from Jack. I can't imagine he'll be casting that.
Yeah, he's been sitting on an Eternal Witness for a while as well, so you can see Kiefer not interested in committing anything that plays into the Eidolon unless it's really impactful, and neither Birds nor Eternal Witness qualifies.
For Jackson, he's going to play another land, and the Eidolon's thought about it last turn. He's thinking about this turn. Oh, Hood's down. It's getting serious in here. All right. So first of all, Jackson's going to have to take 4 from casting this spell. And yeah, we're going to get confirmation on exactly what card that is, because that might be might be a promotional ensnaring bridge.
Yeah, I mean, if he played it and said go,
yeah.
Then.
Yeah, Master's 25 ensnaring bridge. Okay, there we go. All confusion solved. Kiefer will play another land. It's a basic forest, and he'll simply pass the turn back. Jackson will draw. Is he going to keep as he picked up, a lightning bolt? He might play that here, but you mentioned it's well, he might get himself stuck underneath his own cards. I guess he's going to serve in with 1 Eidolon.
Start and send both. I mean, you're going to send 1. Why?
Might as well just send both, right?
Right. You're either going to get a trigger for your trouble, or you're going to get an extra 2 points of combat damage in.
Looks like no attack just yet here from Jackson, as Kiefer's going to play a copy of Cinderglade, which of course is just a mountain because of the Blood Moon. He'll pass the turn back. Deflecting Palm, another uncastable here from Michael Jackson.
Yeah, keep in mind here that Jackson is drawing to the main deck planes. If he finds that, this game's probably on easy mode.
Yes, very true. Just 1 planes, yeah?
Yeah, just the 1.
Jackson, you can tell, very unsure of himself if he should be attacking, if he should not be attacking, how he should be attacking. For Kiefer, his turns are very straightforward. There's not a lot that he can do. So it looks like another lightning bolt has been picked up here from Michael.
So now I definitely want to attack with both, because if Kiefer does nothing, you just have him locked.
Well, he's just going to attack with just 1. I'm a little surprised by that. Looks like he just missed out on 2 free points of damage there.
And then if you get Kiefer down to 7, now you have 2 bolts. Any spell he casts in the Eidolon is game over.
It's true. Well, let's see what this is going to be. Looks like Kiefer may have picked up his own lightning bolt. Yeah?
So now, because you missed out on the 2 points, now Kiefer falls to 7 from this trigger. You have 2 bolts. That's not lethal, and Jackson's hand's unlocked. Or rather, Kiefer's hand's unlocked.
Yep. Well, the Eidolon, no reason to respond. So now Kiefer's going to actually play some spells. This is what you talked about. The hand is unlocked, as you mentioned. So now here's Eternal Witness. Eternal Witness is going to get back Bloodbraid Elf. Bloodbraid Elf will be played. That's going to trigger. Let's do some cascading. There's a lightning bolt that's going to go upstairs. And Jackson's going to fall down to 11. An attack, assuming an attack is coming. Well, there's a couple of lightning bolts that are going to go upstairs. So Kiefer's going to fall down to 1. And Jackson can get in here.
Yeah, Jackson can't get his hand low enough due to the ensnaring bridge because he cannot cast the white spells in his hand. So now he's drawing to planes or really any castable spell besides Risk Factor.
Well, let's see what this is. That's a Monastery's Whisper. That's not going to do it. That'll come down, sure. And Kiefer will obviously block, but none of these spells are castable here for Michael Jackson. A very strange game to kick things off here. He'll just have to pass the turn back, so Kiefer will draw now. Still on the hunt for maybe that Primal Command, of which, again, he has 4 copies, though he cascaded through 1. Looks like Jack might have a copy of Tireless Tracker in hand. Not sure if he has any lands to play with it, though, to make some clues.
Yeah, I mean, the big question here is, how did you, from Kiefer's perspective, how did you close out this game a turn too early? You can pretty easily guess that Jackson's hand is a bunch of white cards. You would be able to do that under normal circumstances, and because Jackson has an ensnaring bridge, he has an incentive to just play. Even if he was flooding out, he would still be putting the lands onto the battlefield. Yep. So the best guess here is that his hand is nothing castable. Is there a way to get a couple turns, a turn out of this game because obviously Jackson is drawing to any number of cards to win the game on the spot.
Here's Utopia's Sprawl. Looks like it's going to name green. Kiefer, no shortage of red mana here, given the Blood Moon and all the fetch lands that are on the battlefield. I think he may have another copy of Eternal Witness in hand. He is playing 2 copies, one of them already on the battlefield. But I think that's what's running through Jack's mind right now is how do I get this game over with as fast as possible? And again, if he takes some time to try to figure out what's going on in Michael Jackson's hand, it's much like you said. He just has to have white spells.
Nothing else
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't slow roll a burn spell that would kill you.
And because of Ensnaring Bridge, if he just had a bunch of lands, he'd be playing them.
Absolutely. So it looks like Swissbear is thinking about jumping in front of the Eternal Witness.
Yeah, I think you want to do this, 1, because you get the trade, and 2, because it's the best hope of getting... it's easier to lock the Bloodbraid Elf out via Ensnaring Bridge than it is the Eternal Witness.
All right, Jack's going to follow up here. It looks like maybe with that other Witness. It will be.
You can Witness for Witness and Witness for Bolt. Okay. He's just witnessing 4 Bolt.
We'll see this maybe be another Blood Moon here. It looks like it's actually going to be a tracker.
Same
okay.
deal. Just have 3 lethal attackers along with your Lightning Bolt.
All right, well, the plan now is to fade a burn spell. Is he going to be able to do it? Jackson will draw. Jackson drew a Goblin Guy. That's close enough.
And Goblin Guide is not going to let him block on the next turn as Kiefer has lethal on the table plus the Lightning Bolt.
That's correct. So Goblin Guy going to come down here. And that's not going to do much of anything there for you, Michael, as you analyze the battlefield. So you can't make a good attack. Can't get lethal through. And you know that your opponent has Lightning Bolt in hand from that Eternal Witness. So in a moment here, I think we're going to watch Jack Kiefer untap, attack, and fire off a Lightning Bolt to pick up his first game win of the weekend. And what was a very unusual game against a very unusual build of Burn, and picking up a second Lightning Bolt makes it even easier.
Yep. We'll see here in a moment. Just go through the motions and attack first.
There's your block. There's your damage. Here comes, well, that's lethal just with the attack.
Right, yeah.
So that makes it more than enough as Jack Kiefer's going to win game number 1 here over Michael Jackson. Gruul Land Destruction up a game here over Burn as that weird build of Burn loses game number 1. We're going to go to the sideboards here for both players, and we're going to start with Michael Jackson in his dinosaur costume. I don't think any dinosaurs roaming in the sideboard, but there are 2 Blood Moons, 2 Abrades, 2 Grim Lava Mancers, 2 Ratchet Bombs, 2 Wear Tear, 2 Relic Progenitors, 2 Damping Spheres, and Deflecting Palm. A very diverse sideboard here for our Burn player.
Nothing here really jumps out at me as being great. I suppose I like... But part of it is that my critiques of Jackson's build are really structural. I don't like Ensnaring Bridge and Risk Factor in the same deck. I would just cut one of the 2 of them in the dark. And of the options available, I think Abrades and maybe another Deflecting Palm would be the best thing to do.
Let's go to Jack Kiefer. He's got 3 Relic of Progenitus, 2 Ancient Grudge, 2 Anger of the Gods, 2 Kitchen Finks. Here come the one-of fun-ofs, a Hornet Queen, an Obstinate Baloth, a Thrun, the Last Troll, a Walking Ballista, a Trinisphere, and a Thragtusk.
Great options here. Thragtusk, Trinisphere, Obstinate Baloth, Kitchen Finks, Anger of the Gods, all excellent sideboard cards here. Probably want to do a little bit less with the Stone Rain action. I'm fine leaving in the Blood Moons themselves, but Kiefer's got some easy cuts and some excellent cards to bring in.
Yeah, you mentioned the Stone Rain action here. I got 3 Stone Rains that can come out. There's an Acidic Slime. Sure. We can go ahead and get rid of that. How you doing, Conley Woods? I think that's his MVP card.
I don't mind keeping in the Acidic Slime now that you've seen Ensnaring Bridge.
Also kills Eidolon.
Yeah, it kills Eidolon.
So it's not terrible. And I don't see any Molten Rains here. So it's actually not that heavy of a land destruction package, truth be told. Sometimes you see Molten Rains in a deck like this. Obviously, you're going to find Blood Moon here. It's a different take on this land destruction deck. So we'll keep our eyes on how these players do sideboard, and Michael Jackson will be on the play here for game number 2. In the meantime, we're going to talk about something that I don't know if you've taken advantage of yet this week or not, the StarCityGames.com weekly sale. Select full art lands available for you there, partner.
Yeah, head over to go.StarCityGames.com/weekly sale to find out what's on sale. New sale, new categories once a week. It goes live 11 o'clock a.m. Monday East Coast time. So, again, make sure to be checking back to the website at least once a week. For the time being, up to 50% off select full art lands. I went on your flash sale. I got to go pick up.
It's not my flash sale.
SCGs.
There we go. It's not my flash sale.
I bought some stuff. I got to actually pick it up from this show.
There you go.
4 heavily played Apocalypse Shivan Reefs. 4 heavily played Ice Age Carplusion Forest.
That's nice.
6 heavily played Cold Snap Scrying Sheets.
That's nice.
1 heavily played Legends Pendelhaven.
Cleaning up.
Yeah.
Heavily played Pendelhaven. Just put that in the box.
Yeah, you know.
Put it all in the box.
1 Pendelhaven comes up in some decks,
Yeah.
and obviously I'm going to have the Legends one if and when that time.
Just a heinous version of Pendelhaven.
It came out of a Legends pack that's from the 90s.
I get it.
It's a piece of history. Anywho, I cleaned up.
Nice job. Nice job. Proud of you.
What am I going to do with Shivan Reefs and Carplusion Forests? Don't know. But I don't want to not have them should it come up. And those are the red Painlands I think I'm the most likely to play. More than Sulphur Springs or Battlefield Forge.
I think you dial up a Battlefield Forge before you dial up the Carplusion. Before the Carplusion.
Decks play Carplusion Forest.
Yeah.
Like there's Eldrazi decks that have played Carplusion Forest.
Okay.
I don't know of any Thought-Knot or Boros decks.
Those probably aren't very good.
Right.
That's my lean right there. Probably not very good.
That's what I thought too. So I just
Shivan Reef?
Yeah.
Let's deal with that.
Storm. It's a sweet card.
All right.
I like the art. I want to have Apocalypse one should it ever come up.
So this is one of the few times where I'd actually prefer to have like the Apocalypse versions as opposed to the newer versions.
Of course.
Yeah. That's not of course with me. I do like the Apocalypse versions of those lands.
Yep. And the foils to die for.
Okay.
If you're a foil person, you got to get the Apocalypse foils.
Actually, those were good foils back in the day.
The Starburst over the top. Yeah, it's so cool.
Those were
so cool.
Those were good.
Yep.
And you're like anti-foil.
I am.
So the fact that you like those as a foil, that's a pretty big deal right there.
Yeah. My first PTQ winning deck had a fair number of foils in it.
There it is.
Got a Skyfolk. 4.
I bet you most people don't know what that card does.
Blurred Mongoose. 4.
Busted.
Kavu Titan. 4.
Not busted.
No, it was not.
Not good.
Worst card in the deck by a lot.
Not good then. Unplayable now.
Yep. Well, all the creatures in that deck would be unplayable now.
The Goose might be okay.
Weird metagame sideboard card.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of, but not
might
like
be okay.
That was a card that just got played back in the day. That's as good as it got for 2 mana.
I think Flametongue would see play.
Was not in my deck.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
It was legal, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Because all the decks were cheap. Enter the battlefield, trigger creatures, and 4 repulse, 4 exclude. FTK was actually kind of bad. I didn't even have him in my sideboard. I had Jilts.
Jilt is deal 2, bounce something?
It bounce something for 2, and kicker, red 1, shock something else.
Nice, I remember that one.
Got 2 Voice of Alls. Playing for top 8, still remember it. Anyhow.
Jack looks like he's going to take a mulligan here. Michael, taking a longer look at his hand, looks like he might be keeping.
The spells in that deck would definitely show up in Standard were they legal, though.
I think Exclude would be good right now.
Be busted.
Be good right now.
If Exclude was legal, you just wouldn't play with expensive creatures.
That's true.
It would be like a self-solving sort of thing.
Yeah. It'd be unacceptable.
Yep. Prophetic Bolt, that would show up.
5 mana deal 4 Impulse?
Yeah.
You could deal it to them too, right?
Yes.
Probably show up. Okay, I feel pretty confident that would show up.
Mystic Snake, good shot. A reasonable chance.
Reasonable chance.
Not a lock.
Reasonable
chance.
Propelled, very Izzet card too.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be maybe a fun reprint. Bring that thing back. I don't think it's too powerful. 5 mana is a lot.
No, it doesn't seem like an unacceptable power level.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one to bring back for the Izzet League, as it were. It looks like Jack is going to keep on top of the scry. We're underway here in game number 2. Michael Jackson going to kick things off here with an Inspiring Vantage into a Riftbolt on Suspend. Kiefer will be going down to 17 momentarily as Jack will take a draw step. He kept this card on top. Do remember, it looks like it was a copy of Utopia Sprawl. This is a basic forest. Here comes that Sprawl. And we'll confirm what color he is naming here in just a moment. Red is the name there on the Sprawl. And now Jackson is going to bring Kiefer down to 17. You're reaching for your bingo. There's an unstable basic land that is...
In the previous game, Michael Jackson had a...
That's accurate. That's accurate.
Card is cast off Suspend also.
Yep, you're up 2-0 right now. Jackson does not have a second land, unfortunately, for him. So we're going to go over to Kiefer now. Kiefer going to play a Wooded Foothills. He'll sacrifice that. Going to fall down to at least 16, potentially 14, but I think a basic is on the way. Wouldn't be surprising if it's a basic forest. And if it is a basic forest, which it is, might be time for a Blood Moon.
Although a lot of good plays in this spot, too. Even something like Tireless Tracker or Eternal Witness could be coming.
Yeah. There is Blood Moon. Looks like there will be a response here. And it'll be a Wear Tear, floating a white mana to take care of the Blood Moon. So Michael Jackson is not locked underneath that just yet. That card, Blood Moon, did cause so many problems for him in game number 2. Or excuse me, game number 1. Not yet in game number 2, as he's drawn a land now. He'll sacrifice Nerid Mesa, fall down to at least 19, potentially 17.
Interesting to see here if Jackson has the freedom to fetch up the plains. I'm sure he would like to do it if he could.
Mr. Sullivan on my bingo board says, player locked out by Blood Moon. What do we say for game 1?
That counts.
You count that?
I would count that. Well, I mean, he was drawing very live on the last turn.
He was. I wouldn't say he was locked out.
Yeah, I guess. And he had a plains in his deck.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can't count that.
Okay, all right.
Can't count that.
All right.
I'd be more sympathetic if he didn't have a plains in his deck.
Fair enough. Fair enough. He was unable to cast a couple spells, but was not locked out.
Very easily could have won.
Yes. Jackson going to get a mountain there off this Arid Mesa. He's going to take a good healthy shuffle.
Thoroughly randomized.
Yes. A little more. And a little more.
Almost.
And a little more. Just a touch more. And now we're good. Jack just going to cut. You all right, buddy?
Yep. Just wears me out, man.
I know. It's early. It's round 1, by the way. It's round 1. Spike you. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Didn't even need to crack the fetch land.
Nope.
didn't even. It wasn't even necessary. Could have cracked it now.
Yeah. At any point.
Yeah.
Here's a lightning bolt in response to Kitchen Finks. That's okay. We're all waking up together here in Dallas. Jackson going to draw another mountain here. See what this is going to be. Going to get a good look at Kitchen Finks. We can do the same. I don't think he's going to like you. You've conceded to less.
I've conceded to exactly that card.
That's true. I know that. Kitchen Finks difficult for the old burn strategy to defeat.
Yeah. A lot of L's. A lot of L's.
I believe it's creature type Oof. Memory serves.
Oofy or what? Oof?
It's not pronounced Oof. Oofy.
Yeah. Whatever.
Three. Oofy. 3/2. And there's the battlefield. Game 2 life. Persist.
I believe this is a callback to Brown Oof from Ice Age.
You might be right.
But I'm not 100% sure.
Classic Oofies. I have the Brown Oof art in my head now, I think. Oh, this is the new version. How's that taste?
It was in Mirrodin? I thought there was one in Ice Age.
It probably is.
Is this a reprint? There!
There he is.
Yeah.
There he is. He's up to no good.
A noble tribe.
They should bring back Oofs. Let him run rampant for one block. There's an Arbor Elf, followed up by Wooded Foothills, past the turn back. Couple of triggers there from the Eidolon, presumably. Just one, actually. Just one.
Yeah, I think Kiefer here just trying to set up Primal Command for next turn.
Not a bad thing to set up. Looks like Jackson's turn's already over. So we're going to go back over to Jack.
Now, the concern here, of course, is Skull Crack.
Of course.
It's really bad. If it does resolve, then you're in a really great position. The problem here is if Jackson's playing all on instants, your position's not going to get better against Skull Crack. It's unlikely he's going to commit the mana at this point. So you may just want to do it.
I also think one thing you can kind of keep in mind, too, nowadays, these burn decks, if you've been keeping up online, they don't even really play Skull Crack anymore.
Yeah, maybe it's in the board, whatever. But, Kiefer's position against that card's not going to get any better. If it's Skull Crack here, it's really bad. But if not, then
game's basically over.
Yeah, game's basically over.
We're going to take a look at Primal Command now. And I think it's going to be gain 7 and search a little something up here for old Jack Attack. Not a card you see a lot of in Modern here in Primal Command, as it's going to search up a Thragtusk. You get to choose 2 of these modes. Target player gains 7 life, or put target non-creature permanent on top of its owner's library, or target player shuffles his or her graveyard into his or her library against the old Dredge opponent, or search your library for a creature card, reveal it, and put it into your hand like Jack is doing with this Thragtusk.
And if Jackson didn't have Skull Crack there, in that spot, he doesn't have it in his hand, go get Thragtusk and just try to cement your advantage here.
Cinderglade is the land. See if there'll be a follow-up. There will be. And it's going to be another Arbor Elf. Looks like we're going to see a Boros Charm maybe get fired off here. All right. Jack will take 4. Michael's going to take 2 from his own Eidolon. This looks like Jack's going to fall down to 10. Michael down to 17. We're going to head back over. Jackson going to pick up another copy of Lightning Helix, but it looks like he's only in 1 spell per turn territory at this stage. Let's see what this is going to be. It's going to be a Ratchet Bomb. It's a little slow.
Yep, and by the time Jackson here takes care of these Arbor Elves and the Utopia Sprawl, Kiefer's battlefield is going to be pretty intense.
Kiefer does have a Thragtusk that he can safely play this turn, bring himself up to 15 at the very least. You see the combination here between Utopia Sprawl and Arbor Elf. Kiefer going to take advantage of that in just a bit. First, he's going to attack with a Kitchen Finks, get those 3 points of damage in. Then we'll see some spells post-combat in main phase 2. We might be thinking Inferno Titan. Let's go Thragtusk.
But from here, Jackson does have a line of trying to pin Kiefer on mana with this Ratchet Bomb set to 1. Play the Ensnaring Bridge, hopefully locking out the remaining creatures, and hope that Kiefer can't draw that while Jackson finds a bunch of random burn spells.
Well, the problem right now is I don't think he has an Ensnaring Bridge just yet. He may have just drawn one for the turn. Ratchet Bomb is going to be blown up. Right now, the draw coming into the turn, his hand was 2 Lightning Helixes, so I actually think he may have just drawn Bridge. He did. Okay. So he'll take 2 to cast the Bridge, but this does make this a little bit difficult here for Kiefer. Kiefer does have plenty of life to work with, but he needs a way to get through the bridge. He picked up a copy of Trinisphere, which isn't doing all that much.
Yeah, Trinisphere has moments of being really good against burn, but in this spot, I guess if you play the Trinisphere, Jackson just gets pinned under his own Eidolon. This is, as I mentioned before, another structural issue I have with Jackson's build is Eidolon and Ensnaring Bridge is really bad together.
Yeah, not a combo.
Not a combo. And there's going to be pressure here on Jackson to keep playing spells because otherwise he can't maintain the Ensnaring Bridge and Kiefer gets to start attacking. And if he keeps casting spells, life totals here with Kiefer at 13 versus Jackson at 10, that's a good spot for Kiefer. Now, the other side of that now is that Jackson's hand is a bunch of lightning helixes. So that is potentially a way to manage all of this, where he's gaining some life from the helixes, and that allows him to continue to play spells through the Eidolon.
The helixes aren't so bad. The helix are actually the ideal card.
It's really the only spell that makes any forward progress from this spot.
Yeah. All right, well, here comes a helix. Kiefer going to fall down to 10. Jackson going to go down to 8, then up to 11.
Yep. Now, there's a lot of ways for this, setup here for Jackson to get real bad.
Oh, yeah. Something on Primal Command kind of ends things. As Kiefer is going to sacrifice this Windswept Heath, get himself a basic forest. Another clue going to be coming here for the Tireless Tracker. And it looks like Kiefer's going to get to see a couple of cards here. Does make you wonder exactly how Kiefer did sideboard, but he does have a fair amount of outs to this. As an example, if he left in that card, like the Acidic Slime, that'll be a way to take care of the problem. But he's going to start here by cracking a clue and drawing a card. Track will get a little bit bigger, going to make it worse when there's a bridge on the battlefield. Sack another clue. Birds of Paradise was the first draw. Track will now get another counter and draw another card. Looks like another copy of Kitchen Finks. Looks like that was all main phase action there for Jack. So Lightning Bolt to draw here for Jackson. And Jackson will just pass the turn back.
And Jackson's leftovers here are 9 points with Kiefer at 9. So if he doesn't gain life or find some way to apply lethal this turn, Jackson's just got it. We'll be going to game 3 here in a moment.
This looks like we might be seeing a Bloodbraid Elf come down here in just a moment.
Blood Moon will also play in this spot.
Arbor Elf does really not. It's kind of odd because I don't think that Arbor Elf in general is the worst card here. And I think that Kiefer is somewhat incentivized to cast it because he has cards like Infernal Titan in his hand. But it's not great.
Yep. 9 versus 7 is meaningful insofar as Boros Charm that makes its way into the equation with a lot of other things. But if Jackson has Boros Charm in hand, I think you're in a ton of trouble here regardless.
It'll be a Helix and a Bolt on Kiefer's end step. Going to bring Jack down to 1. And now Michael Jackson can draw, can fire off this other Lightning Helix, and we're going to get ready for a third game here as Jack Kiefer and Michael Jackson are all tied up in an unexpected round 1 match between Gruul Land Destruction and Burn here in Dallas.
Yep. Jackson had a curious setup there, but ended up being very good as Kiefer could not find an answer to the Ensnaring Bridge. Got poked away by the Eidolon triggers. Jackson with enough Lightning Helixes to sort of maintain everything and able to burn him out before Kiefer could find an answer.
No, I don't think you go to Ancient Grudge if you're Jack, right? You probably don't need to go that far at this stage of things, right?
No. I think that card's just too bad.
And it only kills, you did see Ratchet Bomb.
I guess with Ratchet Bomb it's different. I don't know. I don't know how many bad cards he has in his deck to really cut as part of it.
Well, I don't like the Inferno Titan. I think it's too slow. Don't think you need the Stone Rain, so that's 4 cards. P and Kira's fine. It really only strikes me as like 4 cards that are horrible in the matchup. He's already bringing in Finks. That's 2. Thragtusk is 3. We know the Trinisphere is in. That's 4. Obstinate Baloth is almost certainly in, so that's 5 cards that are in the deck.
Anger of the Gods is justifiable.
That is justifiable, yeah.
Not the best, but justifiable.
Yeah. So we're not entirely sure how Jack opted to sideboard here. And for Michael, well, we know that Ratchet Bomb came in. We didn't see Grim Lavamancer. I suppose some of the Lightning Bolts may have gotten out of the deck if you're Jack.
No.
You don't think so?
I mean, I would have a bunch of bolts before I touched Anger of the Gods.
Okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Hood's back up now. Now that we're all tied up, now we're back. This is some sort of dinosaur from a comic or television show, I believe.
I wouldn't know.
I know that. I know that she wouldn't know. It looks a little bit like Spyro, but it's not that. Oh, it might be Pete the Imaginary Dragon. Is that a thing?
Not helping me here.
Okay. All right. You got kids, man. Are there any dragon shows being played in your house?
No.
Thing?
We like
no.
story bots big in our house.
What is that?
It's an educational show. There's a lot of singing. It's
Okay.
sweep.
Okay.
Story bots is sweep.
All right.
Tumbleweaf.
What's that? You got to give me some synopsis on these shows.
A lot of them are just sort of animatronic or animated little creatures sort of going around on little adventures.
Is Sesame Street still a banger? Is that a thing that people watch?
I have not watched it in a while.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure it is, but I haven't watched it in a while.
I think Cookie Monster can teach kids a lot of lessons.
They had my understanding is they had to scale him back a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was like no longer the political winds had shifted to.
Are they gluten-free cookies now?
Or he practices moderation.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I know.
He's a monster who eats cookies. Why are we? I don't like this at all.
I know. I don't either. I'm just saying that's the last I heard.
I don't like it. If we're doing that, what's even the point?
I agree.
Birds of Paradise off of Basic Forest here. This is a bloodstained mire. We're going to go back over to Jack, who I believe has a turn 2 Blood Moon all rolled up here, but Michael Jackson has the wear tear again. Well, there's Basic Forest, so it looks like Jack is interested in trying to resolve a Blood Moon. Storybots?
Yeah, Storybots is sweet.
I want to Google that. All right, he's going to go straight to the Finks.
Yeah, better to do this when Jackson doesn't have Skullcrack Mana available. Get some pressure going, and you don't have to worry about the wear tear.
Yeah, all right. We're going to go over to Jackson. I was going to sacrifice. Nah, maybe not. Unclear if he's going to sacrifice this Bloodstained Mire or not. All right, he will. Going to fall down to at least 19, potentially more. As Kiefer at a healthy 21 and has got a clock on the battlefield. I hope they're making like new episodes of Power Rangers or something. Now I just kind of want to know what's going on in the kids' landscape.
The shows are better than when we were kids.
So you told me this last weekend when we were in Denver. And I thought about it, and I'm willing to believe that, though I think some people forget how good we had it. Recess, that's a television show, not Recess in general. I don't even know if kids still have recess. I'd like to assume they do.
Yeah, they do.
But
it's a break for the teachers. It's not a break.
more so than for the kids.
Yeah. I got some insight to it now. It's a break for the teachers. You guys go outside and just run around.
Just do something. Tire yourselves out.
Tire yourselves out.
That makes sense. That actually makes sense. That's a genius whoever thought of that.
Yeah.
Recess was a great television show. Power Rangers, a great television show. Great. Let's see what this is. Monastery Swift Spear. Block.
A block.
I wouldn't do it, Michael. I know it looks appealing. All right. Kiefer will draw. He's going to sacrifice a Wooded Foothills. That's a Cinderglade, not a Stomping Ground. Pardon me.
Free.
At the cost of a life. But, yes, free enough. All right, Bloodbraid Elf. I think Kiefer's not going towards the Blood Moon.
No, he's, I mean, showing a lot of respect here for Wear Tear. And if Jackson wants to Stone Redeem himself, leaving up a white mana the whole time, that's fine.
Here's Utopia Sprawl. That's going to come on to that forest. We'll see what color he names on the Sprawl.
Time to get busy.
And the red is the name, and I'm with you. Let's get into the red zone here.
At least with the Bloodbraid. If you want to leave the things back, I still wouldn't do it, but I respect it. This attack you got to do, because the Bloodbraid Elf's not a reliable blocker.
No. Let's see what we got here. Bolt that. You got to be thrilled with that exchange.
That's a win.
Yeah.
Major win.
Looks like another Sacred Fountain may have been the draw here for Michael Jackson. That might be entering the battlefield tapped. That's actually going to enter the battlefield untapped. Jackson going to fall down to 17. Looks like it's time for an Eidolon of the Great Revel. Though he could be thinking a Ratchet Bomb. It's going to be a Boros Charm. I guessed wrong. Swift Spear gets a little bit larger. Into a 2-3. Put a temporary counter on that. There we go. I think just as a placeholder for how big it is at the moment. One spell played. We call that a snap block. And right to the graveyard goes the Swift Spear. Pass the turn back. A curious attack, perhaps. Let's see what this is. All right, Kiefer's going to go to Bloodbraid again. Going to go by Bloodbraid Elf. Here's a Birds of Paradise. Not the best of hits here for Jack on the Bloodbraids. It's not like these birds and Utopia Sprawls are horrible. They actually do have some function, but not exactly what I imagine he's looking for.
But the floor is still pretty high here. It's just more mana to work with.
There's a Wooded Foothills, and we're going to go back over to Jackson.
And Kiefer still sitting on that Blood Moon, again, showing a lot of respect for the possibility of Wear Tear anytime Jackson's had a mana up.
I think Jackson is kind of made it transparent at this point. He's left the mana up for a couple of turns now. So here comes a Lava Spike. Kiefer going to fall down to 15. He's got a lot of life to work with, though, does Jack. And Jackson with a Lightning Helix in hand still has that Wear Tear that Kiefer may have figured out is there. All right, there comes an attack for 5. Might be Lightning Helix time. All right, that's going to take care of the Bloodbraid Elf. And now the window is open for the Blood Moon, folks.
Yep, a lot of patience here from Kiefer, and now he's got his window to get paid out.
3 mana. This will be a Tireless Tracker. He'll crack that Foothills. Going to fall down to 14.
Yeah, Kiefer's got a lot of life to play with here, so he can afford to get a clue for his trouble here.
And he will get a clue. And now the remaining cards are Blood Moon and Eternal Witness. Now he's going to go with the former and save the latter. As now here is Blood Moon gunning off all of Michael Jackson's white mana. And that'll be an Arid Mace off the top of the deck. He's going to place that right onto the battlefield. Simply a Mountain at this stage. 3 mana. Going to go to Ensnaring Bridge again is Jackson. Pass the turn back. Kiefer will draw. And remember, Jack's got quite a few outs to this, and he's going to be able to find them here with the tracker, most likely, as he'll crack a clue and draw a card. Eternal Witness and Windswept Heath in hand now.
A lot of life to play with, too.
That is also true. Let's sack another clue. Up to 2 counters goes the tracker, and a forest is the draw. Kiefer's already played his land for the turn, mind you. And thought about maybe, what's he thinking here? Finks is a 2-power creature that is eligible to attack. So Jackson's going to fall down to 13. Your follow-up is Eternal Witness. Eternal Witness is going to go get a Bloodbraid Elf. Pass the turn back. Let's go back over to Michael Jackson, who's trying to get behind a bridge. Going to start by suspending a Rift Bolt, it appears. Yes, 1 counter on that. See if we can get that actually on the screen for our viewers at home. And now an Eidolon.
And now we got the question here of, can Jackson kind of maintain all of this? Casting spells through the Eidolon, trying to keep the bridge locking out Kiefer. It's a lot to ask. Especially in this spot where he's at risk of just drawing white cards he can't cast.
That is a problem. Birds of Paradise to draw there for Kiefer. He'll play a Forest. Get a clue. Crack the clue via the Utopia Sprawl. Tracker going to get a little bit larger. Didn't get a great look at it. But he's tapping a lot of mana. This is a Pia and Kiran Nalaar. No trigger there, of course, from the Eidolon. Cost too much mana. A couple of Thopters will join the fray. Nick Miller here those Nick Miller Thopter tokens.
And now Jackson under a lot of pressure to get empty-handed here as those Thopters can start attacking. And if Jackson's taking any points of damage along the way here, it's nearly impossible for him to manage everything he needs to manage of keeping the bridge empty-handed and not dying to his own Eidolon.
Yeah. I think the Rift Bolt has to probably go after Pia.
You might just have to use it on Kiefer and run perfect.
Okay.
I'm not sure in the long term this gets you very far because now you're here where. Well, I guess if Kiefer's killing the Eidolon, it's not the worst for you. I have some interest if I'm in Kiefer's position of just there's an Eidolon.
Thopters, yeah.
Yeah, and also there's an Eidolon in play. I'm gonna start hitting you.
Yep.
And you've got to be able to keep yourself empty-handed here. Seems impossible.
Well, the Rift Bolt does resolve. Let's see what this is going to be. Another Rift Bolt on suspend. Let's go back over to Jack. Jack has drawn a mountain. He'll play a mountain. Tracker will generate a clue. Jack will sack the clue. Maybe. Okay. Jackson wants to make sure he knows exactly how this works.
So I think what Jackson is asking is there a window where I have priority and I can wear the clue?
Sure.
Because that gets him hellbent. The answer is no.
No.
Assuming that Kiefer doesn't take a game action in between resolving the trigger and then sacrificing the clue.
Yep. Tracker up to 4 counters. Kiefer will draw a card. Picked up an Arbor Elf. It's a Bloodbraid Elf once again. Utopia Sprawl. Going to put it on the same forest. And now that's an Arbor Elf.
Another 1-power creature to hit with.
That's not bad. And a Bird of Paradise. And a Thopter going to come across here for 1. I guess you can blow that up.
Yeah, you
right.
can just shatter that.
So now Jackson's empty-handed. No longer has an Eidolon on the battlefield. And he's going to be Rift Bolting Kiefer.
Yep.
Okay.
You just have to assume that your bridge is on the table for the whole game here.
Yep, because you can't win otherwise. Let's see what this is. Whatever it is, you got to play it. Unless it's a white card, of course, in which case you can't. Trinisphere the draw. That's going to be a Windswept Heath. Going to play that, use it for mana given the Blood Moon. Can't crack the fetch land because of the Blood Moon. Draw a card with the tracker. Follow up, Trinisphere. Can attack with an Arbor Elf. Well, you see Jack's battlefield is very, very cluttered here. I think it would behoove him to actually organize it some so that he knows exactly what's going on.
I actually don't like casting the Wear Tear here because it doesn't do anything, and it gives Jackson something to do with a Wear Tear.
Oh, so you don't like casting the Trinisphere?
Right. I would just keep that. I would
Gotcha.
just keep the Trinisphere. If I was Kiefer's position, I would just keep the Trinisphere in hand.
Okay. Let's see what this is. Risk factor.
I just say draw 3, right?
Yeah, the chances that he draws 2 white cards, non-zero, right?
Or just can't manage with the Ensnaring Bridge. He draws 2 lands.
Yeah. Looks like a little bit of confusion here between the two players about when Kiefer could potentially attack and what he can attack with. At the very least, he can attack with the Arbor Elf. There's no point in which Jackson has 0 cards in his hand.
Right.
So he either has 1 or he has 3.
I want to attack you. Do you want to do something or not? If you don't do anything, the 1-power creatures are eligible to attack. If you do something, then we see where you're at after everything resolves.
Looks like the conversation, they're discussing when he casts the risk factor.
Because if he did it during declare attackers, now all of a sudden it could be really bad for Jackson.
It could be horrible for Jackson.
The Blood Braids and whatever else could be eligible to attack.
Yeah. So when he announces this spell, clarification is very important. When he wants to play it is on the end step.
Yeah.
I would think. So it looks like Arbor Elf will be attacking. And he'll be taking 1. All right. So 3 cards have been drawn. Bloodstained Mire and Mountain among them. This was part of your concern. There's a Lava Spike. That's a castable one. So here's a Mountain. Spike you. You have to. Ooh. Trinister actually ends up looking kind of good. He's got to pay 3 for it. All right. He's already played a land for the turn. So the Trinister actually ends up being okay in this spot.
Well, the leftovers are 2 lands. I'm not sure. That doesn't amount to a whole lot.
I'll land an artifact. Whatever. I mean,
Okay,
whatever it is, costs 3 mana. So the fact that he does have a 6 land means he'll be able to play 2 spells, which is good news for Michael Jackson. Jack going to get in here with Arbor Elf. Kitchen Finks, that's a 2-1 because of Persist Counter and an Eternal Witness. Because Jackson cannot get his hand empty. Let's see what this is going to be. Scavenging Ooze. I don't think there are a ton of creatures in the graveyard right now.
There's a Pia Kirnalar, and I think an Eidolon.
Eidolon, yeah.
It's a little something to work with.
There's Narid Mesa. This is another Ensnaring Bridge. Pass the turn back. Kiefer is really interested in finding a Primal Command, to say the least. Going to be eating some stuff here, it looks like Kiefer will be doing, with the Ooze. All right, so a little bit of life will be gained here by Jack via the Scavenging Ooze. He's going to go up to 12. A bunch of counters on the Ooze. He'll untap all these permanents. Time to draw. Finally found a Primal Command. There we go.
And if he has an Acidic Slime to go get here, then that's it.
That should do it, correct? You put that on top of the deck, and you search for a Slime. Or you put that on top of the deck and you search for a Witness.
There's a number of paths to do it, assuming that his deck is still set up to get out of multiple bridges from here.
Well, Jack is searching. He does have that 1 main deck copy of Acidic Slime. You do wonder if it's still in the deck. It's Eternal Witness, so it looks like Slime is no longer in the deck. A little surprising.
But I think he has does he have enough mana here to just go? Oh yeah, he's got Arbor Elves. Yeah, he can just
because
witness the command.
Sprawl. Yeah,
he
yeah,
just witness the command and do this again.
Yep. Yeah, so this should be actually pretty easy. He's got a Lightning Bolt in hand too, so this gets even easier. Bolt you, witness the bolt, bolt you again. Let's call it he can do it through Trinisphere.
Yeah, he's got plenty of mana.
Plenty of mana, and that's going to do it. So Jack Kiefer's going to win this game and match over Michael Jackson 2-1. Gruul Land Destruction will take care of Burn. And for young Jack Kiefer from Boulder, Colorado.